So, okay. I think I'm going to kind of open for questions. And
So you've been talking a lot about the positive mirroring, and part of the feminine double would be to embrace the dark side, although that seems such a racist term now, dark light. But the negative part is not of oneself, or it is of oneself, and how do we embrace that and not have to act out?
Oh, okay, right on, right on. So, when one way to think about this is that when the double is invoked, and there's this, the positives of the light side, that inevitably comes with this fall into the shadow. And from a Jungian point of view, the idea is to actually make a relationship with those shadow elements, with not to try to push it away, but just what you're saying, to make a relationship with it. And that's the methodology that I'm talking about, that's called partnering the kids, which is, okay, what do I feel when I try to talk about lesbian love? I feel crushed. I feel ashamed. Okay, so there's a kid in me who feels, then we can personify this as a kid who feels crushed all the time, who's in a relationship with a crushing mother. And instead of feeling like, wow, that feeling of crushedness is really getting in my way, and I want to just live, and I'm like, I wish that feeling of crushedness would go away, and I wish that toxic shame would go away, I wish that rage would go away. Instead of that, we turn to that, and we have an attitude of curiosity, personifying it as a kid, as a child that was traumatized originally, and being curious. Like, what happened? Yeah. And venting, giving that kid a pillow, laying down on the pillow. Getting into the body around these feelings, not just having a kind of theoretical discussion. It's such a good point. And if I'm doing anything here that says this is all light, I'm missing the boat here, right? It's not, it's so important to, and in fact, the shadow elements are really the pathway to relationship with this double. If we don't make relationship with the shadow elements, they're in the way. The double's like standing behind, because the shadow elements are in this mother-daughter situation. And if we can work with that and get more and more clarity and more into the truth of the hurt rage with the mother, that frees up energy to begin to cultivate the other aspects of the double. And it happens naturally in the psyche. This is an innate process in the psyche. This is not like, okay, I have to do this and then I have to do this. It's like, if we do this mother-daughter work, it literally, the double starts to show up in dreams, as you start to feel her. It's like, this is an innate process in the psyche. It's not like we're not inventing the wheel. This is innate. Yeah, it's, she wants to live, and this is going on. And if our job is just to become conscious to it. Just.
I have a question. I'm sort of stuck in a little part of the process, and I was wondering if you could talk to me about it. What do you think? I feel like when I think about my own mother, I have these like two versions of her. I see her as she is in life, and then as she was during the time I was raised. And I think that trauma inevitably results when you're under the absolute power of another human being, and that suddenly their limitations are, the source of trauma for you. And when you grow up, you see the person as this like, she had her own trauma, she had her own bad time, and it's like, it's hard to work all that out inside. I feel traumatized, and I feel angry, and I feel hurt, but then I feel like there's no rational outlet for those sort of things.
Yeah, okay, so this is about something that's in your psyche. This is about the mother in the psyche. This is not about this woman in your current life at all. This is about this early mother who's in your psyche, and that's where your problem is. It's not with this woman in the current, and this is partly we get confused. It's like, oh, but I have a really good relationship with her now, you know, I don't want to mess with that. Well, you know, you may or may not need to interact with her in order to kind of heal this, okay, eventually, but you don't have to. You can work with it internally in your inner object, with that inner icky mother that...
I'm trying to make her perfect now. I'm trying to like call her out on her crap all the time. And it's stupid. You never do that to her.
In present life.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's like, it's not about her.
No.
It's about the her in you. And as long as you're going after the person outside, you're in this projection situation. You can't, that's not going to change anything. The problem is this inner mommy-baby dynamic that's in your psyche, and that's where it has to get worked. And I would suggest even further, I would say this is a defense against doing that. I would say that's a defense against doing that. Like, oh, my poor mother now, I like her now. She's worked so hard, she's done all this work, she was out of it when I was a child, but now she's like gotten a lot more with it. I really can't, you know, go after her, it's mean. Okay? But part of this is, that's a defense, and that's the defense that happened originally with this child. That's your original defense. I can't go after mommy. Okay, I can't get mad at her. I couldn't get mad at her then, I can't get mad at her now. Okay, it's just being told in some kind of sneaky way. Okay, but actually, you know, there's a kid who's like, you know, hurt and enraged at mommy, and doesn't want to have to feel that. And is mad at me that I'm like saying it. Yeah. Okay, so that's, you know, this is where it's at, is working the inner. And okay, I want to say one last thing about this, shifting allegiances. Shifting allegiances from mommy. You see, this is a beautiful illustration, Goni, thank you, of the allegiance with mommy against the child. What happens to the child? The child's like hung out to dry here. All the allegiances with mom. This is the work of the psychotherapy. Shifting allegiance from mommy to the child self. That's the work. And that opens up space for this double and your own like creative life and all your, look how much energy is bound up in this mother. Yeah. That's what this is about. Shifting allegiances. Shifting allegiances. Deeper and deeper and deeper. You can do it. No, don't make me. Well, you know, one suggestion I have is countertransference. One idea is that in the therapeutic relationship, this double relationship starts to come alive and creates you know, I want to say container, but that sounds a little dry. Like creates a rich, fertile, fecund environment for this shift to take place through the doubling in the therapy. All right, so thank you very much. I think we have some announcements.
Yes, we do.
All right, thank you for coming, everybody.
Thank you.
Like I said, you know, people, please, you're invited to, you know, there's email after. Please keep the conversation going because we're just beginning here to talk about this. This is Roger.
Thank you, Sandra.
Yay.
Hi,